show. He's telling us to be quiet. Hello and welcome to another very exciting show. Bayonne today always brings you people in the know, people who have been here forever and many people who have just arrived and have fallen in love with the town the way we know that all of us have. And today, it's the first time my guest has his I Love Bayonne button on before I even had to give it to him. I'd like to introduce you to Rusty McNichols. Rusty is the marketing director for the Kaplan Properties. Welcome, Rusty.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for wearing your I Love Bayonne button.
My pleasure. I have it in my drawer, so I try to bring it out when I'm here at Bayonne for sure.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
For people who are watching the show, obviously Kaplan has a new presence in town.
Yes.
Location-wise, I'm going to let you explain where their property is and what's been going on underneath the Bayonne Bridge. Besides the construction, there's a lot of other stuff happening.
Absolutely. Right now we have built Camelot at Bayonne.
Camelot?
Yep. It's more of a boutique community. There's 98 apartments, 1 and 2 bedroom luxury rentals. Mm-hmm. And we've tried to take some attention to detail in the apartment homes with hardwood floors, ceramic tiles, Berber carpets. So some interior finishes, stainless steel appliances,
granite
countertops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we found in the market that people are wanting that and desiring it. Mm-hmm. And so the size of the apartments and stuff like that, we're hoping to draw some of those people that would like a nicer lifestyle, but at a reduced cost.
Okay.
So we're seeing a little bit more of a migration, a little bit of some people moving out of the city and willing to transport in through the trains and stuff like that to get back into the city.
Well, the light rail opened up that part of town.
Yes.
Okay.
That's huge.
If this project had, I know that it was on the site of the former Boulevard Bus Company.
Yes.
Okay. And I know at that time we didn't have the light rail down yet at the 8th Street station.
No, you're absolutely correct. And there's some buses that will take you right to the light rail, but it's just several blocks that you can walk, especially in the summertime. It's a nice stroll to get down there. And that's, again, a huge convenience. I believe you can get into Manhattan Midtown about 45 minutes.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Which is amazing, yes.
Yes, no, that is fabulous. So for anyone watching who doesn't know where it is, it's in between 2nd and 3rd.
Yes,
streets
on JFK Boulevard.
On JFK
Correct.
Boulevard, okay.
Yeah, we're about a block from the park down there, the Bayonne Park.
Yes.
Which is wonderful. Yeah, you got some nice views. Actually, on the 3rd floor of the building, you get some great skyline views over there, which is wonderful.
Well, you have 2 buildings, okay?
Correct, yes.
You have my understanding is the first building is just about fully occupied.
Yes, and
Okay.
we're quickly filling up the second side of the building over there. So there's been a great response from the community. I think they like. What I've noticed about Bayonne, because I'm new here, it's just everybody's very family-oriented and very connected. And that boutique kind of small atmosphere in there, we have 2 people that work in there. We have an on-site maintenance guy that's there 24 hours a day.
He's great.
Yeah, you get that really high level of attention to detail and quick response. Sometimes when you get in the larger communities, you have a little bit of a disconnect with that.
It's kind of, I mean, I've been there quite often. Obviously, my family, certain members of my family have been living there. And there was a bit of an emergency situation for my son, Christopher, my daughter-in-law Heather, and my 2 grandchildren, Jake and Ella.
Yes.
They returned from a vacation and found that there had been a problem with water in their house and they needed temporary residence.
Yes.
And your place was the hotel.
Yeah, what we found is we found a niche. So traditionally in our market, everybody wants a 12-month lease, an unfurnished apartment, and we want to offer flexibility to people in the Bayonne market and people moving from out of the area. So we have the Kaplan corporate housing program.
Yes.
So basically you bring your food, toiletries, and clothes.
It was furnished.
Yeah, everything else is provided, kind of like a hotel, but you're getting a better experience. And all that money that you might have to spend eating out when you're staying at a hotel, you can save and actually do it right in the convenience of your apartment home.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the one thing I'd like to encourage everyone to do is to go down there and get a tour of the
Yes.
building. Not only the apartments, the facilities that this building is totally unique to Bayonne.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what the building contains?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a resident lounge with free Wi-Fi.
Yes.
We have a fitness and a cardio room available, and then we also, which is coming nice because of the spring, we have the
Finally.
whole resident patio area. We have a grill out there. People like to grill marshmallows. There's actually gas grills if you want to prepare the food. And the staff is putting on a movie night this coming Friday night.
Oh, it's Friday. Okay.
And believe it or not, they're doing War of the Worlds.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that was actually filmed here, and the house that Tom Cruise was in is actually like only a block down from where our offices are at.
Exactly.
So I think that's really cool. So one of our staff member, Weddington, had said, "Why don't you get on the show and ask Tom Cruise to come over?" I'm like, well, I don't think we're going to be national, but I'll put a special plug in for her. So
well, I mean, at least Tom Cruise, he got his moment of glory in Bayonne.
he did.
You know, I mean, everyone in Bayonne has their time, and you know, he's doing fine where he is now. But the Kaplan family, okay, we're so excited that they've come and become part of the Bayonne family.
Yes.
Can you tell me, because I know the history. I think it's very interesting. This, I believe, is the third generation.
Yes, Kaplan has been in business since 1952. They came over. Michael's father came over as a Holocaust victim.
Really?
Yep. And so they started. They were work well with their hands, and so they started building single-family homes.
Really?
And so they've built over 30,000 homes since 1952.
Oh my goodness.
And they're just very resourceful. They had built some apartment communities when they first started, I think back in the 70s. And you know, the real estate market has gone through some ups and downs.
Yes.
And Kaplan, having a little bit of foresight, went ahead and started building apartment communities.
Okay.
And so what they do is they go into areas that they feel long-term are going to have the most expansion and help enrich the quality of lives in those specific communities. So for example, Bayonne, they had a lot of foresight, years back to purchase the land where the apartment community now exists.
Yes.
And they're family owned and operated, so they're here to stay. They own and manage long term. So they don't flip their communities. They don't sell them out to somebody else.
Important to know.
Yeah, so they just take a lot of attention to detail in the communities, and they invest a lot in them because they plan on keeping them long term. And the Kaplan name's on there, and that's comes with a high regard of integrity and work. So
the Kaplan the Camelot luxury apartments are a fine example of what Kaplan does when it comes to developing, and we're talking about the details. If you were to go in, I don't even think you would think you were in Bayonne. I mean, the way it's decorated and the chandelier when you first walk in, and the beautiful banquette, and just the things that you see make you feel very excited. It's very sophisticated.
yeah. It
But
almost has a New
comfortable.
York feel
It
when you
does.
walk in there.
Yes.
But at much more reasonably priced places to live in. So it definitely does have a New York feel, and we try to work with some more high-end designers on capturing that element, so that when people do come home from work out of Manhattan, they still feel like they're in Manhattan.
True.
Yeah.
True. Now, I know that they also, because I've been in and out of the office quite often, they have a concierge service where you can have your dry cleaning taken care of.
Yep. Valet dry cleaning.
Valet dry cleaning. Whittington really makes sure that all of the details that need to be done are done, I would say, to perfection.
Yes.
I've seen those home shopping club shoppers, those TV shoppers, when those boxes come in,
Yes.
the UPS man down there,
Yes.
I know that office is filled.
I know, and they're so willing to bring the packages up to your apartment. If you give them permission, they'll be in your apartment home prior to you coming home. Just again, when you have that boutique community, there's a lot of additional services that you can offer to all the residents that really make the difference. I can't tell you the number of times that I've gotten feedback from people moving in, long-term residents, about Whittington and Araceli, and just the exceptional.
Araceli as well. Yes, Araceli as well.
They just always seem to exceed the customer's expectations, and that just makes me proud as a marketing director to be a part of that and to receive that kind of feedback.
Now we're talking about obviously it's an elevator building.
Yes.
It's a very easy breezy. You're in It's gated. Let's
Yep.
mention that, because
Yep.
that's kind of important.
Yeah, for peace of mind, I call them peace of mind services. So it's a controlled access building. There's garages that you have to have access to get in. There's just cameras around that you just kind of, it's kind of like mom watching. We just have a tendency to mind our P's and Q's a little bit better. And then, the resident areas are gated and key fobbed to be able to get in and out. And we do make it easy if you do have guests coming over. There's a keypad. They can easily make contact with you, and you can get them permission to get into the buildings.
Now, well, that's an important feature for anyone, wondering. Obviously, it's a new part of town for
Yes.
development, and you want to make sure when you're there that everything has been considered. And I do believe that with what I've seen, everything has been taken care of.
Absolutely. We're always looking for opportunities to improve what we're doing there, but we seem to have it down to a pack. So, the nice thing, we have that open forum with the residents, so they're constantly giving us feedback, which
okay.
is great. They come down and they offer new ideas, and I think because there's such a tight-knit community there, if somebody's there that shouldn't be there, most of the time the residents are picking up on that stuff, So it does make a big difference.
Now, Kaplan, of course, has started its footprint in Bayonne
Yes.
with the Camelot.
Yeah.
Now, we have another part of town that has remained undeveloped for many, many years, and I'm going to throw that over to you, and you can talk a lot about.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot before the planning board right now, so we have some dreams and visions of what we'd like to do. But as you come over the Bayonne Bridge into Bayonne, the right side you'll notice Camelot at Bayonne, which is quite visible from the bridge. On the left side, there's a huge parcel over there.
Yes.
And there's a long-term expansion that Kaplan's going to be making on that parcel there. So it will start out in the multifamily housing with apartments, but there's an opportunity for over 2,000 units, and that could be apartments, condos, and single-family homes.
Okay.
Again, because it's like a 5 to 8 year project, that will expand as we go along there. But for sure, we're building an expansion to the park, so there'll be baseball fields over there,
Really?
and additional services that will be offered back to the city.
So this would have been the former Texaco site?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously, everyone needs to know that it has anything that needed to be taken care of with the Texaco site has been it's environmentally safe.
Correct, and that's been what's taking a little bit
I
longer.
know.
It's just they want to make sure that all those things are covered, because we want an environment that's best for everybody living there, and so there's huge investments that are being made in ensuring that that's been taken care of. So excellent point on that.
Now, we're talking about residential housing. Are we talking also about commercial and possibly businesses?
Yeah, it's what the market will hold, but as a marketing director, my vision would be to have some really cool shops and restaurants, and it would be a destination.
Yes.
I mean, there's beautiful views of the water out there. There's going to be plenty of places to walk around. So what better thing to do on a Friday night than to stay in Bayonne?
Yep.
Not have to pay all that money to go into Manhattan.
True.
And have the Manhattan experience, but at half the price. So that's a long-term goal, again, is to have some retail, hopefully some restaurants and different things like that, and that not only the residents living there can take care of, but the city of Bayonne could, and be proud of that area over there.
Now, as far as on a grid, we do have a rendering of what the promenade would look like.
Correct.
As far as, we would be creating new streets, new boulevards,
Yes.
new avenues.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. From what I can imagine, do you have any idea of what the population would be, how that would increase the size of the population?
Gosh, that's a great question. If we said there's 2,000 units out there, on average that could be 3,000 to 4,000 people.
Wow.
And again, if single family homes, that number can fluctuate just a little bit, but so yeah, that could be a lot of new people coming into the area, which brings on new opportunities for the city too.
When you're talking about single family homes, obviously I sell real estate. There's been we have not, when you're talking about single family, you're talking about townhouse type of houses?
Yes.
Or okay, so it would still be a townhouse kind of community?
There's a lot of flexibility.
Okay.
I think they broke it down into 6 or 8 different quads out there. So they'll build, and then the market will really determine what we can do.
What they do.
So we'd never rule out single family homes. It just depends on what the market needs at that time, and we can quickly adapt to that.
It's always a request. People, I don't even know when a one family house was built.
Right.
Think about it. Bayonne. It's all multi-dwellings and or condos,
Right.
Townhouses. I mean, we have the Boatworks. That was another community that came in and took on the life of its own as well. Very similar to what's happening down at the Camelot.
Okay.
Your background. Now, tell us about how do you have as much energy and excitement for what you're doing. This isn't the only project that you
I've been a part of. No, I've actually been in the industry for about 14 years.
Okay.
So I started out in Michigan, and I've kind of evolved from there. I've been in about 12 or 13 different markets.
Okay.
So I work with different companies on repositioning existing assets and then making sure that they were producing the best return on investment possible.
Okay.
So that afforded me a lot of opportunities of moving around based off of need. This is the first time I've been able to be a part of a project where we build brand new from the ground up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I love that. So I've never had an opportunity to do it, and it's fun to be a part of the branding of it, getting acclimated with the community, and just seeing the transformation that building makes to the entire community.
Let's talk about the community, because I know that was one of the points that we wanted to bring out.
Yeah.
Bayonne, living here, I'm here over 30 years. Sometimes change. It feels like a tight shoe.
Right.
Where sometimes you're trying to squeeze your foot into it, but it still feels uncomfortable.
Right.
But I know that for the naysayers,
Right.
it's amazing how people just change and they flip their ideas. So tell me about what the community has.
I got the first glimpse of that when we did our grand opening, and we had the mayor come out to do the ribbon cutting ceremony, and I was calling around to get balloons put together. We found a local restaurant to provide the food, and they were just so warm and inviting. I don't remember the lady. I call her the balloon lady, but I don't remember her
Eileen
name.
Bear.
Eileen.
She's a friend of mine.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. So she's on the phone and she's advocating for us, and she got me connected with some of the leadership in the Bayonne market to try to find out other ways that we can partner and bring more people in.
Okay.
So out of all the cities I've been working in lately in New Jersey, this has been the most responsive to us here. Yes. I mean, I feel like they're out there advocating for us. I mean, some people are like, yeah, it's cool that you're here, but to be that proactive where she has people calling me and giving my phone number out and stuff. So that means a lot to the Kaplans, because we've invested a lot in this community. So to have such a warm response, it only solidifies in our mind the long-term investment we're going to have in Bayonne and how we'll continue to be here for years to come.
Well, I mean, Eileen is an example of a small business owner. I mean, I have myself had a small business here in town, and there was a community. It's she still has her business going on, but it's not like it was. And I mean, obviously, none of us are the same as we were 10 years ago, but the smaller community of people who know how important it is to have new blood coming into town and new ideas coming into town, and places where if people want to sell their houses, they have an option to stay.
Yes.
An option where everything is taken care of for you. You don't have to shovel.
Very true. We've noticed that too. Like people start off with a small home, and then it's like medium, large, extra large, and then all of a sudden, like, wait a minute,
it fades back.
Yeah. People move out. We're by ourselves, and then it needs to get smaller again. And so we've had a few people, even at Camelot at Bayonne, that have come in, like that small sense of family that's there, but they're just. It was time for them to transition out of their home, and it is a great place to be able to transition into and just know that you're really going to be taken well care of.
Well, when you're that in love with living in a place and you don't want to leave,
right?
The fact that Kaplan came in and offered us an opportunity to downsize our lives, but yet still have your restaurants and your neighbors and your friends still close by, and your family. It's an interesting. It's such an interesting project, and knowing that we have something to look forward to is extremely exciting.
Yes.
When it comes to real estate, community development, and also people who want to come back to Bayonne, who may have moved out but wanted something newer.
Yeah. I mean, what I envision is that the Bayonne's going to be the next Hoboken or Jersey City. That's my lofty aspirations for the city. I don't know how it'll unfold, but I think there's a lot of opportunity. There's for me, there's an urban and suburban kind of feel. So where do you go where you're going to have Walmart and a Lowe's and have that all spread out and be 45 minutes from downtown
the
Manhattan.
skyline is
I know.
right there.
Like you drive by there and you're like, wait a minute.
It's almost like Oz. It's like
It
you
is.
can't believe what you're seeing.
Exactly.
I
I
know.
love that. So it just, and then you can go right over, there's a small bridge and then you're right in this little quaint, with the local restaurants and, so it's blended really well together.
See, I love when people come into town and see it the way I see it.
Yeah.
Because I see more potential than anything else. There are obviously in any city and in the world. I mean, things change constantly, but I only feel like we're building on what we have.
Yes.
And for people of this type of caliber to find our town and to come in and say, this is what we're coming here to do and we want to be part of your family is really, I think it's very enlightening. I really do.
Yeah. And the people here really take a lot of pride in their community, and you can tell that because you don't see trash blowing around places. You know what I mean? There's an attention to detail that people take in the community, and it communicates a lot to a person that's not from the area.
True.
That's been here for the first time. It just makes me feel very comfortable and very welcomed.
Now, I know that we need to talk about how social media has played such a major role in all of our lives. I mean, terminology, words that we didn't even know 5 years ago now are just what you have to know in order to promote yourself and also, have your 5 minutes, like Tom Cruise had his.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
so tell us about what Kaplan is doing with...
We've transitioned a lot in the last 18 months. So
18 months.
18 months. We went from a kind of a print media focus to online and social media.
Okay.
We really trying to hone in, and rather than spread ourselves thin on multiple platforms of social media, we've tried to hone in on a couple. What's been successful for us has been Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
So you have your own Facebook page?
We do. If you go to Facebook and type in Camelot at Bayonne, you too can become a fan.
Okay.
Whittington does a great job of posting what's going on in the community, updates about the area. She just found this new app. It's called GoGoBot by Google.
Okay.
So you type in Bayonne into GoGoBot, and it tells you all the area stuff that's going on within Bayonne.
Oh, really?
And then she updates that onto Facebook for all the residents to know. So again, it's a Google app called GoGoBot. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's constantly trying to find ways to update our residents and keep them in the loop.
Keep them in the loop.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, because back in the day, I mean, all you needed to do was just hang out your window and you spoke, to your neighbor. I do know. I mean, one time when I was down there was a couple that drove up from Delaware.
Yes.
And they arrived at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they were all fresh-faced and happy and enthusiastic. And I thought to myself, my gosh, you took the drive all the way up from Delaware? And they said, we're here, we want to see the apartments. And Whittington, said, oh, sure, let's go, I'll give you the tour. And I believe they rented there.
They did. And the interesting, I love Whittington because she's just very resourceful. She uses an app called Tango. It's similar to Skype or whatever. So what she does, because we have a lot of people moving from out of state.
Well, that's why you're talking about GoGoBot, you
Yes.
said? They really don't know Bayonne. They don't know. They have no idea where they, honestly, in some instances, they have no idea what's there.
Right.
And it's like a discovery for them.
Well, and it's nice if you can get them before they move here, you can kind of paint the picture. A picture says 1,000 words. So we use things like GoGoBot. We use Tango, where Whittington will actually videotape their apartment home, the community and everything.
She told me about that,
And she sends it to them. And we've just had such a positive response from people. They're just like, whew, that's what my place is going to look like? That's amazing. So those sight unseen kind of things can be really used through the social media realm, which has been great.
Well, I think, and you're talking about only in the last 18 months, the rapid change in the way things are done.
Yes.
People trust the phone, something coming. I sold a house to someone in Virginia by a video.
That's awesome.
And they didn't, when I handed them I went to the closing and I handed them the key, and someone at the office said, what if the wife doesn't like the house? I said, it's too late, they bought it.
Right.
And it was all done by my phone.
Yeah. It's amazing how technology can do that, but it creates the same experience that they would have if they were here. There's very little difference between the two experiences at all.
Well, we're talking about something else, which is a trust.
Yes.
That I see just from what we're discussing, and realizing that if a person would drive 3 hours to get here, and based on what they saw, you're not going to come here and feel disillusioned or disappointed.
Well, we make beautiful apartment homes. We put granite countertops and everything. At the end of the day, people rent from people.
True.
So, when Whittington picks up the phone and they dialogue, they trust Whittington.
Yes.
And they believe in her. So that's why that person from Maryland drives all the way. You fill it in with technology and you show pictures and all that stuff, but
nothing replaces.
They don't.
Yes.
The reason the person rented from you from Virginia, because they didn't believe anything that you would do would be less than honest, and you delivered on your word. And again, there's a little bit more faith when they can actually see what you're offering. Let's not discount that, but at the end of the day, they truly believe in you, and that's the same thing with our people. We invest a lot in really great people, and I can make the greatest ads in the world. I can put these brochures together for you today. If Araceli and Whittington aren't there answering the phone and greeting every person that walks in there, we are not going to be successful as an organization. So we'll continue to make attention to detail, but we want to hire the best of the best.
Well, that's another point that we're bringing out just by talking about this. Not only are they so careful about the construction and the details and all of the other things, the people that work there, you really will feel a difference when you go there and you speak with them, and they're there to give you the commercial and of course make the sale and close the deal, but it's a different feeling than a regular sales pitch.
Right.
If I can put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, my personal philosophy on that, Diana, is this is someone's home, and if I make a commitment to you about service, maintenance, anything like that, like that's your home, that's a huge deal. It's different than selling a car. It's similar to selling a home, except that person is with you for the entire term of their stay there. And so I don't take that commitment lightly, nor does Kaplan.
No, I know that. I can tell that that's true just by visiting it there myself. Now, Jason Kaplan, of course, couldn't be here with us today. What other projects do they have going on in the state? Are they involved in, I think I see Camelot when I'm on the Parkway.
It does. That's kind of our boutique of apartment communities that we'll have throughout the state.
Oh, okay.
There's stuff popping up in South Jersey and North Jersey. They just have a lot of things in the pipeline right now. So there's a long-term commitment to New Jersey. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. They've already been here 3 generations, and I'm sure they'll be here for generations to come. But they have land and all that stuff being developed, and working with local municipalities to ensure that we're bringing the right product to the right people at the right time.
Well, the reputation itself is what I think I know the company has been built on. And knowing that from 1952 to 2015, we are continuing to grow and things are continuing not only to flourish, but I think you're showing us that there's a different way of doing business.
Yes.
And we're creating, if I could quote Hillary, it takes a village.
Right.
And in this instance, anyone going down to the Camelot or with any one of the Kaplan projects, I think you'll come to feel very comfortable and know that you've made a good decision in choosing them.
Yes.
We did a little commercial here ourselves.
Yes.
For Kaplan.
I guess we did a little bit, did we?
I think we did.
Yeah.
It's it's just a wonderful thing to have people who joined the Bayonne crowd, and I'm happy to know that the button is still. That button's from 1970. I mean, talk about that's kind of a retro button.
It is.
That was found in City Hall by Joe Tagliarini, who gave me a bag of them and said, "Diane, do you think could you do anything with these?" And I said, let me have them, and I'll see if I find the right people. Yep. Not everyone gets one, though, Rusty.
Well, I'm privileged to have one then, for sure.
You should know that.
Definitely.
Okay? And I have given one to Jason as well.
Yes,
he has one too, and Whittington has one, and Araceli has one. And I hope that everyone watching the show goes down, takes a look at the Camelot, And are the renderings in the office that they might be able to see the promenade?
They do have a smaller set of renderings showing some different conceptuals. So they're more than welcome when they come out to tour an apartment home out there to be
take a
able to
look.
look at the renderings there also. Whittington would love to have you